It's time for Retire Right with Reverse Rob, diving deeper into housing wealth and utilizing a portion of your home's equity as a coordinated strategy in retirement planning. Now here's your host, Senior Retirement Mortgage Specialist at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, Rob Canier.
Well, welcome, friends. Welcome to the Retire Right with Reverse Rob show. My name is Rob Canier. I am your host today on this podcast. And on this podcast, we have various guests on, and we discuss anything from softball to real estate to retirement mortgages. Maybe we might talk about retirement mortgages today if you guys are okay with that. So, but I'm honored today to have a couple of good friends and colleagues of mine, Joe Pasquale from Fairway Home Mortgage and Saro Hagobian.
You practiced it so many times.
Saro Hagobian. I know.
Hagobian.
Hagobian. All right, I got it. I've been practicing that all day, and then I choked. So anyway, I'm going to tell a little bit about my guests today for our listeners out there. I'm super excited to have them on. We've done some. We're going to be talking about some actual clients that we've served and worked with, and we're going to have some fun today and talk about all kinds of good stuff. So a little bit about Saro. He's a Phoenix-based realtor, real estate investor, and entrepreneur with a passion for helping people make smart decisions with one of their biggest assets, their home. Before entering real estate, Saro spent many years building and operating a successful pool and repair and remodeling company, giving him hands-on experience in construction, customer service, and running a small business. The background has helped him develop a practical, no-nonsense approach to real estate that his clients do appreciate. Today, Saro specializes in helping buyers, sellers, investors, and families navigate the Arizona real estate market with confidence, and that is a big feat, to navigate the Arizona real estate market. Known for his strong work ethic, honest advice, and extensive network of trusted professionals, he prides himself, speaking of pride, he prides himself on being the guy who can connect people with the right resources. As Saro often says, if I can't help you myself, I'll probably know someone who can. Beyond real estate, Saro is passionate about building relationships, supporting his local community, helping people create long-term wealth through home ownership, and smart investing. His mission is simple: provide value, build trust, and be a resource long before and long after the transaction is complete. Saro, welcome to the Retire Right with the Reverse Rob show.
Thank you, Rob. Great to be here, man.
Yeah, welcome.
Good to be here with Joe and
Big Joe.
You know,
yeah, here we are. Got the whole crew together.
got the whole crew together.
Yeah, you do.
So, a little bit about Joe. I've known Joe a long time. I mean, a long time in the mortgage industry. 12 years is a long time in the mortgage industry. But Joe Pasquale is a senior loan officer with Fairway Home Mortgage and a proud Arizona native. Yeah, proud Arizona native. Bringing 15 years of experience in the mortgage industry, helping clients find financing that actually fits their life. Joe's approach is anything but one size fits all. He takes the time to understand each client's unique situation and builds individualized financing solutions that make the home buying process feel a lot less overwhelming. When he's not helping people achieve their real estate goals, you'll find Joe out on his Harley Davidson exploring the state he calls home, and his whole life, his entire life he's lived here, as well as I. Experiencing the kitchen and experimenting in the kitchen, or hanging out with his two dogs, Mia and Luna. And we're going to be talking about various topics today on the Retire Right with Reverse Rob show with these two cats. The thing I like about these two guys is that they just do business the right way, the honest way, and they have big hearts for serving others. I'm getting goosebumps and hopefully I don't get choked up talking about that. But let's just dive in and talk a little bit about, I was told back 27 years ago when I started in the mortgage industry, you're not in the mortgage business, you're in the people business. And I think that resonates with you and what you do. So talk a little bit about real estate versus the people business. Saro.
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the first things that I remember from the very first brokerage / team I was on, what was the saying? Transactions, not paychecks, or something along I'm sorry. Relationships, not transactions. Sorry, I'm on the spot now. So basically,
No
that kind of stuck with me because, like, yeah, don't get into real estate to make money. Get into real estate to help people, and the money will follow, right? So that's kind of the main thing that they would push to us, not to apply too much pressure with the people that you're working with. Listen to what their needs and wants are, not what the agent's needs and wants are. And if you kind of follow that line, it's really helpful. It kind of guides you through the transaction naturally in a way. So, yeah, definitely people first and everything else second. So,
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, what about you, Joe?
Yeah, I follow the same approach. This getting a mortgage can be such a difficult thing to navigate, right? And a lot of times it's just you plug in some numbers and the broker spits back numbers at you and you just get your mortgage. It's not my approach. It's educating the client on how the mortgage process works, why they should choose one product or the other, give multiple scenarios, multiple options, and let the client choose which path fits them the best with my influence and knowledge on it. If I can do that, the client is much more comfortable with the mortgage. They understand what they're getting. So it's really, asking questions first and shutting up, listening to what the client wants, and then catering the financing to the client's goals and wants. By doing that, it's worked out very well. It's not the loans we do, it's the people we serve.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we are a people first business. People ask, you meet someone on the street, they ask, what do you do for a living? I go, I make friends and help people. I just happen to do mortgages on the side. So if I can help them create that long-term wealth and understand how to do that, and with a trusted partner like Saro, putting them in the right home to fit their needs, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about putting, the people, fitting people in the right home to fit their needs, because as you know, with dealing with retirement mortgages, I'm dealing with the baby boomer class, I call them seasoned homeowners.
Right.
You guys focus on first-time home buyers. I focused on last-time home buyers.
Right.
As we talked about a couple weeks ago at that class, we had a great real estate continuing education class at Fleming Steakhouse a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, two.
Place was packed.
We had about 36 people in the room. Yeah, it was great. We couldn't fit
best
any more.
lunch I've had in a long time. Thank you.
Don't get used to it.
All right.
No, we had a good time. It's about educating. And when you were talking, Joe, it just reminded me, it resonated with me, the importance of, fulfilling their needs and helping them attain the goals in life and in retirement, but also setting proper expectations. The last thing we want to have on a transaction, especially as with a real estate agent or a financial advisor, as a loan officer, we don't like surprises. So our motto on our team is that we strive for perfection and settle for excellence, and we learn something new on every file. And I've closed, the last 27 years over, 5,000 transactions, 500 retirement mortgages. We just had 2 close yesterday, and we learned
Congrats.
something new.
Yeah.
Thank you. My point is, thank you, is that we learned something. How can we do this better? So we're always fine-tuning and tweaking it to make it, as our CEO Steve Jacobson says, we want their experience to be a 10, right? So, all right. What can homeowners do? I know from my standpoint what homeowners can do to protect their largest asset, but what can you add to that, Saro?
I think education forward, especially with a lot of first-time home buyers. Joe and I connected through Annie. Speaking of Annie, we just talked about her before we came onto the air here. Joe and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and we linked up, and it was one of those like, it just clicked, and we tried to work together, and then things weren't happening, and then boom, things started moving. So my process with home buyers involves Joe quite a bit, because without a loan, you can't really buy anything. So,
You refuse to work with cash buyers, is that correct?
Oh no. Well, that's
If they don't have cash.
We refuse to work with
Yeah.
right.
Exactly. Going back to the buyer, depending on what stage in their life they are they moving? Are they downsizing? Are they a first-time home buyer? I've got a guy I'm working with right now. Right after this, I need to go show 4 houses. 29-year-old guy who's been living at home till now, and he's like, all right, it's time to move on. He's saved a ton of money. So first thing I did, I'm like, all right, we know you're serious. Call let's get Joe involved. Joe gets involved, kind of gives him the kind of the blueprint of what the mortgage is going to look like and what his payments like, and just asking the right questions. It's case by case. Every client's going to be a little different, so you kind of see what they need and what they want and what they're trying to achieve, and then you just kind of navigate around all of that and get them to the finish line.
Okay, you mentioned process and systems. We're big on processes and systems, especially with the type of finance that I do, because it's a little bit more complex and comprehensive, as you know. But what are some of the danger signs or pitfalls that, and I want to ask both of you guys this question, that you're trying to, as we mentioned earlier in the interview, excuse me, set the proper expectations. So, hey, we got to be careful. This case in point, don't go out and buy a new car.
Right. Don't go finance a fridge or a couch for your new house.
Right.
It's all about, we do this every day, right? So we know it may seem, like breathing for us, but a client, they buy a home maybe 4 or 5 times in their life. So they're not cognizant, or they're not aware of the things they should be looking out for. That's why they have a team like us, right? We're there to protect them, protect their assets, protect their financial future, really. And it's us. It comes down to education, like I always say. There's no dumb questions in real estate, only ones you don't know yet, right? So we have to be the ones to stay out in front of that.
Yeah, and getting ahead of what's really impressive for the buyer, the client, is when you have made the mistakes in the past, right? As an agent, as a loan officer and whatnot, and you're like, all right, I'm going to make sure I bring that up before it happens again. So you're kind of getting ahead of whatever, like hey, don't go buy a new car. Don't go
Don't
do
get
a hard,
married. Don't get divorced. Don't move money around.
right.
Don't move money around.
I have a client sign a document stating they won't do certain things.
Don't commit a crime.
Well, yeah.
Don't quit your job. Don't switch jobs. Don't,
I had one of those a few years ago.
Wait to go to Vegas till after we close,
And,
that whole thing.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is when they do something like that, and we may or may not bring that up to them, they may develop amnesia, but it comes back on us that it was our fault. Well, why aren't we why aren't loan docs a title yet? Why aren't we closing? Well, you switched jobs just now when we did the VOE, the verification of employment. We called your employer not working there any longer, but it comes back on us, and that's always a fun conversation.
Or you put your 2 weeks in.
Yep.
And a close of escrow will happen before those 2 weeks, but on that final verification, it says likelihood of employment unlikely.
Not good.
Great. Good job.
Another really big one is divorce. So I just did a buyer consultation with a buyer, and on the phone, no mention of it. I sit down with him in person, and he's like, by the way, I'm married, but no longer want to be. And I was like, well, let's not buy a house yet. Let's figure all that out. So, because the reason I bring that up, about 2 years ago, I did a purchase for a buyer who was going through a divorce, and it almost didn't close because we needed a piece of paper for a quit claim. Yeah, we needed a quit claim or some sort of release from his wife to say, okay, we're going to sell our house, and then when you buy the next one, I won't be any part of it. So that it actually held the process up for 2.5 weeks, and we almost basically lost out on it. So that I always ask that now, like, what's your marital status? Because that's a really big one that gets thrown in, and it could literally derail the whole thing.
Massively derail.
Yeah, that's a big derail.
That was great advice you told him, this recent client. Hey, let's get that part of your life figured out, and then let's move on to this one, because we don't know if he's paying alimony, paying child support, if he's have to do a lump sum payout and lose all of his down payment money. So that's another thing, clients get these big eyes, right? Let's go buy a new house, or let's move forward real quick. Sometimes we got to pump the brakes a little bit, and we got to be the ones to say that to make their life situation easier.
And some agents won't do that because they don't
see
know
a
to
paycheck.
do that, or they're like, well, this guy was ready to roll. He's like, here are the 3 houses I want to go look at. Let's go. And I was like, okay, hold on, ask the right questions. And the flip side of that is, all right, cool, let's go. We close, I make my money, and then he goes to sell it in 4 years, and she's attached to it. And then who's he calling? He's like, what the hell was that all about? Like, so you just gotta control the prevent anything from happening as much as you can within your means, but you know, you can't control everything.
I think it stems back, Saro, to what you're saying at the beginning. It's relationships, not transactions.
Sure.
And I'm going to say this with all due respect to fellow colleagues in our industries, that a lot of them are focused on they need they need this transaction, this real estate transaction, this loan to close in order to make their mortgage payment or their car payment, and they just want to push it through, cram it through. Where we're in a position, I just think by the grace of God, where we can pick and choose who we want to work with. And if we have a referral partner that is pressuring us, or a borrower for that matter, where we can say, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, no is a sentence.
yeah.
No is a sentence.
Yeah.
So, but you brought up divorce, it's tripled. The divorce rate since the 1990s has tripled. Really think the only ones that make out on a divorce are the divorce attorneys or the mediators. But yeah, when it comes to that can mess up a transaction. So you got to be like Wayne Gretzky was the number one hockey player in the history of hockey. Why was Wayne Gretzky the number one hockey player in the history of hockey? Because Wayne Gretzky anticipated where the puck was going to be. So he would skate where the puck was going to be rather than where the puck is at. So that's what we're doing by setting the expectations, educating, and being able to have those tough conversations. I had one of the toughest conversations I've ever had in 27 years of doing mortgages yesterday. And I'll tell you about it later. But it was, a unfortunate situation for a client whose stepsister was taking care of him. And, I've always said, dig the well before you're thirsty. So you want to put a reverse mortgage in place sooner than later before you need it. Okay. They did not do that. So then what happens is when they wait till it's a loan of last resort and they have not made their last 2 months mortgage payments, and we're trying to close this for them, their problem becomes our problem. Or so and it's like, no, we have a solution. We're trying to fix it. It's just like going to the doctor and your arm is already severed and you're like, yeah, I think I need a Band-Aid on my, but talk a little bit about your past as far as what you did before real estate, Saro, as far as the pool remodeling business, and what did you learn other than you don't want to do that during the summer? And how did that experience and that work that you did, that scope of work, carry over into your real estate business?
Well, full disclosure, I took the class in I was 22. So what year was that? I don't know. It was right before the boom. '06 maybe, '07. Right during, no, '05. But before the crash, sorry, before the crash. Took all the classes, went and failed the test once, and I said, forget it, I'm not into it. I was in the restaurant business back then. And long nights, long days, and I just didn't have it in me. I didn't have the drive like I did when I redid it in 2020. So I've kind of always wanted to be a real estate agent and work with people and help them out and get them into houses and whatever. But I kind of put a pause on it. And after the restaurant industry, I got into the pool industry because I was tired of working nights and weekends. And I thought one day I want to be married with a family, which I've done both of those things. So I was like, all right, I need a 9 to 5 where I can make a decent living. And the pool business was it. I started cleaning pools and then repairing them and then partnering up with a high school buddy of mine. That's a whole nother story. But him and I took a very small, reasonably profitable pool company and just blew it up. And then, got to a point where I was like, okay, I think I've made it in the pool industry. And then every year I got older, I'm like, it's getting too hot. It's getting too hot. And then COVID happened and we got busier. So got busier, brought on more people, believe it or not. And at a certain point, I told Chris, I'm like, I think I've got about a year left in me. So we got to figure out a transition here to get me out. At that same time, I started taking classes online because everything in person was pretty much banned. Did my classes, took my tests. I think I took the test in this office building here.
No way.
The second test, the big one. And I was just ready to go at that point. I was committed, not like at 22. I wasn't going to commit to it because I had other things going on. But I had an agent here that moved to California, and I was like, well, what do I do now? And that's with the combination of those two things. I just got my license, and I was just going to do my stuff, buy my holds or flips or whatever I was doing, and then word got out. And then I started working with my sphere, just not even broadcasting that I was a real estate agent. And now it's just kind of hitting this domino effect.
So is it by referral mostly?
All my stuff's referral. I don't really do. I'm gonna start advertising, and Joe and I just started farming 85254 032.
Yeah.
You know,
That's how we met when you guys
yes.
were doing.
Well, yeah,
You were doing some, and I know all realtors do this that are out there listening right now, door knocking.
not this
Especially this
realtor.
time here.
No, I don't do a whole lot of door knocking. I've got such a large network. I can probably call 5 to 7 people a day for 3 months straight and then start back over. And that's just because I've lived here basically my whole life and have maintained good relationships, haven't burnt any bridges. And, you know, you just call and check in with people. And like this last guy I'm telling you about, I've known him, I think, since he was 15 and I was 19, a little bit older. We worked together at the pizza place, right? And he sees my posts online, and I get a phone call on a Sunday afternoon randomly. Hey, what's up? I'm like, I know this voice. Who the hell is this? I'm like, I'm sorry, who is this? Oh, okay. And that's kind of how, so, you know, people find me online. It's just one of those things that kind of compound over time.
Right. We go back. I mean, you've been at Fairway Home Mortgage for over 15 years now.
Yeah, almost 16.
Okay, almost 16.
Yeah.
Wow. And then I came over in 2014. We met,
Yep.
started working at the same office with your dad.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we had a great crew back then.
It was awesome.
That was a big
Still is
office.
awesome.
Yeah, still amazing. I mean, some loan officers that Fairway is like, the only regret I have about Fairway is not coming to Fairway sooner.
Right. Yeah.
And I think about that often, but it's like, okay, God, why did you take me down this path? But there are a lot of people along the way and a lot of frogs I kissed. I think by him putting me through that journey I went on made me appreciate our company so much more. The support, the culture, the leadership, our nonprofits with AWI for military veterans and Fairway Cares. It's just, there's nothing like it. And, people always say, oh, you're just saying that. It's like, no, really. So it makes it really easy for when a recruiter calls us, because your dad he taught me this. He's like, if a recruiter calls, just listen to him and say, look, I'm not leaving Fairway unless I die, retire, or get fired. And then they don't know what to say. And then turn the table and say, oh, well, you should tell me a little bit about you, and turn the table and start recruiting them. And then we don't hear from them any longer. But
no, it's a good way to stop that phone from ringing with those guys calling.
Yeah. Yeah. Home equity, we have a lot of home equity stored up in retirement. I know for a fact that home equity right now across the nation, across the United States, to this day, on whatever today is, June 26th, 2026, is over $15 trillion of home equity. That's just in seniors' homes. So it's got to be triple that. And the other fun fact that I brought up a couple weeks ago at the real estate class was the percentage of home buyers that are age 50 and older right now, 48%. Last year, according to NAR, National Association of Realtors, 48% of home buyers were age 50 and older. Nothing against first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, but that is a little bit of a trend that we need to be paying attention to. And I think why we click, you mentioned, we click just because we see that and we're skating to where the puck's going to be. We have 11,400 people turning 62 every day in this country right now. They have over $15.4 trillion, to give or take, depending on which AI you go to, a study you look at. But let's just say over $15 trillion. And we're in the modern era of reverse mortgage right now. We're in the era of the modern reverse mortgage, where we're seeing more affluent, higher net worth clients take a look at this, and I want to talk about a couple of the case studies. But did you have anything you wanted to add to the gold mine, of home equity? And
Home equity is great, and we're very fortunate to be in the situation we're in, right? A lot of the times people look at that home equity and they don't want to touch it. I got it. It's there. I just don't want to touch it. Sacred cow, right? But a lot of the times that home equity can be utilized to free up other avenues of your life. A lot of the times people have, especially right now, consumer debt's at all-time high. Yeah, you got 400 grand in equity at a 2% interest rate, but you got 100 grand in credit card debt at 27% interest. Let's tap into that home equity to free you up, let you breathe a little bit. And like I said, we talk about this stuff every day, so it's about us getting the word out there, is how to use that home equity, if you have it, and more likely you do, how to use that in a smart financial way to free you up in other avenues of life. And that's something that we all work on with our clients,
Probably hundreds of dollars a month compared to paying Visa versus, borrowing it on a HELOC.
Exactly.
And is it like are they objections or just lack of knowledge for some people that you deal with?
It's a combination of
Yeah.
both. So, everybody, if you bought between or refied between 2020 and 2023, you got those golden handcuffs on right now, right? You got that 2 or 3% interest rate. Your home has appreciated massively, probably doubled since then. And, you can, go to the potluck on, with the neighborhood and brag about your 2.5% interest rate, but you're not bragging about your 100 grand at 27%. Maybe that house doesn't fit you anymore. Yeah, you got that 2% interest rate and 100 grand in credit card debt. The house doesn't fit you. Let's get out of that home. Let's find a home that fits you better. Maybe you had a couple kids, or maybe kids moved out. Let's talk about how to use that equity and get you in a better housing situation.
Okay, I misunderstood that from the beginning. Not a HELOC you're talking about.
No, not a HELOC.
Selling, cashing out, paying off all outstanding debt, starting
We
fresh,
look at the
basically.
financial aspect of
the whole thing. So basically, like, I would refer to Joe as a comprehensive mortgage advisor. Like, so he's looking at the whole picture. Comprehensive real estate professional. We have certified financial planners, CFPs. They are comprehensive. So the reason we like to work in the reverse world as a retirement mortgage specialist, we like to work with CFPs because they're looking at the whole enchilada, not just part of it. They're not ignoring home equity. You mentioned something earlier, and it kind of triggered something with me as far as home buyers or home sellers, real estate people. I mean, people in general, the population that own a home, there are typically two mindsets: ignorance and arrogance. So they don't know what they don't know. And like Andy Andrews says, he's a famous best-selling author. It's like, be careful what you think. So the myth is with a reverse mortgage, and these started in 1961. They were taken, and then FHA took the program over in 1988. But between 1961 and 1988, in many cases, at the end, they did take the house away. So we're almost 40 years later, and what's the number one objection to a retirement mortgage? Right. That the bank owns the home and the bank takes the house away. That is 100% fake news. Not true, except the only way you can lose your home with a retirement mortgage or reverse mortgage or home equity conversion mortgage is the same way that you can lose your home with a regular forward mortgage or no mortgage. What do you have to do? Pay your property taxes, pay your homeowner's insurance, and if you're lucky enough to live in an HOA, you got to pay your HOA dues. And that's it. And as long as you do that, we had a client yesterday signing her loan docs up in Kingman, Arizona. And unfortunately, I couldn't, I need a helicopter or a private jet. We're talking to your dad about that. Couldn't get up to Kingman. I get a call from the escrow officer. Hey, we have a question on why the loan is due and payable in year 2098. Why is the loan due and payable? Because, and so, that's easy. Well, easy for me because that's what I do, right? So the loan was The loan is due and payable, just so everybody knows, full disclosure, and my producer's here, he can hear me right now talking about this. A reverse mortgage is due and payable when you reach age 150 years old. So we take the date of birth, and then how old she was, whatever, 1946, and then we add 150 years to that, and that's when the loan is payable and due. So yes, I stand corrected. The loan does become payable and due on a home equity conversion
And
mortgage.
that's to keep certain people away from you, right?
That is because of the non-recourse feature.
Yeah. Well, meaning like so
Because
people aren't bugging you, like other, not you, the buyer or the client. So you mentioned something in the class where it shows that you're at 100 and
okay, that's from a liability protection
yeah,
standpoint. So, and we could talk a little bit about that because the note and deed of trust, to your point, Saro, are recorded at 150% of the appraised value. So the reason that's one of the 6 objectives to doing a reverse mortgage. There's 6 key objectives to doing a reverse mortgage: cash flow, portfolio longevity, paying less in taxes unless you feel it's your patriotic duty to pay more in taxes to the IRS, leave a larger legacy to the kids, protect the surviving spouse if they want to remain in the home, and then liability protection. Hence the reason, to your point, why we work with so many estate planning attorneys and elder law attorneys. Because the note and deed of trust, not to get too technical today on the show, but it's important for people to hear this. This is Reverse Mortgage 202, where the note and deed, because of the non-recourse feature, meaning you can never owe more than the house is worth, is recorded at 150% of the appraised value. So mom and dad's townhome back in 2017, when we closed that, remember, was valued at $300,000. So the note and deed recorded with the county was at $450,000. Their loan balance with the reverse mortgage was actually $33,000. So they knew their loan balance. I knew their loan balance. The title company knew their loan balance. The mortgage company, the servicing company knew the loan balance, but no one else did. So when the scammers go on to the county website or a realtor takes a new listing and the client, oh my gosh, they have a reverse mortgage. And then they look it up on the county website, it's going to appear that they have little or no, or they're upside down on the property. And then they call me. They say, "What? See, I told you those reverse mortgages were bad. They're upside down." I go, "Well, actually, the number one question to ask a client at the listing appointment, well, there's a lot of questions to ask them. The 10th question is, can I see your reverse mortgage statement to see what the actual loan balance is? Oh, they actually have $250,000 of equity in the property. And so that's the safety feature. That's the sixth objective, easy for me to say, of why someone would want to do this. But if someone's going online or listening to Dave Ramsey or going on to late night TV to Tom Selleck commercials, they're not going to have that. This is not the conversation they have. That's why we got to figure out a way to scale this and disseminate proper information. Why we do this podcast, have guys like you on, other professionals like you on to pull stuff out, because I would have never brought that up unless you had brought that up. So thank you. I'll pay you later.
The 150 years and 150 years and the 150%
Yeah,
kind of got
they
mixed
kinda
up in my head a little
coincide,
bit. Yeah.
yeah,
So
they kind of coincide. All right, let's talk about just a couple of case studies. So let's talk about, about, I don't know, 6-9 months ago, I get a call from Joe, said, "Hey, I'm working with Saro, realtor of mine. We want you to meet with a client, Dennis, who has a condo in North Phoenix, and he's carrying a mortgage. His mortgage and I'm going to shut up and let you guys tell us, walk us through the story of Dennis and how we helped him."
Yeah. So Saro actually called me up.
Okay.
No.
yeah, so at this particular condo complex, I'm kind of buddies with the HOA.
That's right.
What's manager or the guy in
Property
charge?
manager,
The guy in charge of the
president,
HOA,
the head
Eric.
bucket
Yeah.
up there,
And
yeah.
him and I talk. You know, I go help him out with the pool every once in a while.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, this thing's broken." I'm like, "All right, I'll be right over. I can walk over there."
Okay.
That's how close I am. And you know, in return, not that I ask for it, I'm like, I just tell them, "Hey, if anybody needs any help, advice, they want to learn a thing or two about real estate, they want to sell, whatever, just have them call me." So Dennis, he introduced me to Dennis. We actually walked up to his apartment, went up the stairs, went in there, and I just started talking to him. It started out as either a listing appointment for me or I was going to buy the place because I'm familiar with the complex. You know, I can rehab it, resell it, rent it, whatever. So as I'm talking to him, as I'm asking the questions, which I don't really come prepared and I don't write them down. It just kind of flows out. I quickly realized this dude doesn't want to go anywhere. He's
wants
in
to
his
age in place.
yeah, he's in his late 70s. He flat out told me, he goes, look, I got 3, 5, 7, 10. I don't know how many years I have left, but I don't want to sell, but if I have to, obviously I will. And that's when I called Joe. I'm like, hey, whoa,
What
wait,
can we do?
I think you mentioned Reverse Rob.
Yeah, I've given
And
you.
maybe I met Reverse Rob at the office just
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
passing.
you did. Yeah,
Yeah.
beforehand. Yeah, you're right.
And that name, man, Reverse Rob, you're like, all right, well, let's see if we can do a reverse mortgage for him. And it started out.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, so Joe connected me with you, and then I connected you with Dennis, and
Yeah.
we were talking back and forth every week or two,
Yeah.
just kind of, you were kind of keeping me in the loop.
Yep.
And next thing you know, things kind of pushed forward, minus the hiccup, the FHA portion of it. The condo complex was not
FHA.
FHA approved, and you
but-
had to get it. But Rob, you made it happen.
So the condo, not many condos are approved by FHA, or they're expired or suspended, and there's various reasons for that. So when Joe and I go onto the FHA connection online, we'll look up. We're like, oh boy, and we look up the zip code and what condos are approved and what condos aren't approved. Back in the day, and we had an unapproved condo that wasn't FHA approved. It took us 3 to 6 to 9 months if we could get it approved. So we would have to tell the client, it's gonna take 3 to 6 to 9 months. I vividly remember this from like 5 to 10 years ago. And it's gonna take 3 to 6 to 9 months. And every time you ask an HOA or property management company for something,
It opens up a can of worms.
they want money.
Yeah.
And then there's still no guarantee that we're going to get it approved at the end. So that's the expectation we set. With Fairway, we're very unique and very fortunate to have a condo approval desk. So we have a gal on our team, on our reverse team. We call her the condo queen. So you got Reverse Rob, you got the condo queen.
We need
Her
nicknames.
Yeah, we do. That's a big thing in our company.
Yeah.
is
It is a
nicknames.
big thing in our company to have nicknames. So the condo queen, we got her in the loop, Heather in the loop.
Yep.
With you and your property manager friend. And that's key too, by the way, to have you and the property manager. That is not, yes. And we literally got that condo approved in less than 30 days. And that was like, whoa.
Well, it helps them out too as a condo complex
Yeah,
because now it
we
opens
can
up
go in
FHA
and
buyers.
We can help other first-time home buyer, FHA first-time home buyers, last-time home buyer. But I'm going to toot your horn a little bit here because these are the type of real estate agents we want to work with, where if you would have sold Dennis's condo, you would have made a commission.
Yeah, a little bit of cash there, but
Yeah,
I
you would have
mean
made a
that's not
commission.
that again. Sleeping well at night,
Right.
Would not have,
Right.
Right.
But you're
Yeah,
realtors, believe it or not, just like certified financial planners, CFPs are fiduciaries. Realtors are fiduciaries, certified financial planners. That type of financial advisor is a fiduciary. And what a fiduciary does is they do what's best for the client. So rather than taking a $10,000 commission and selling that condo and putting him into an apartment to rent, or talking him into going into assisted living, which he didn't want to do, we took a Vietnam veteran who fought for this country to protect our freedom, and we allowed him to age in place because he's familiar with the gas station he goes to, where he gets his hair cut. I know where he shops, the grocery store he shops at, because I'd be talking to him on the phone. Hold on a second, I'm putting my shopping cart away. I know where he shops. He's close to his doctors, and we know he had some medical challenges, and not to get into great detail, but we were worried about him. We got into the hospital for a couple of weeks, and we didn't know if he was going to make it out to close on this. But with doing that through you and then Joe and then me and then my team, our Fairway Reverse team, who is second to none in the industry, that's factual, we were able to eliminate a $2,000 a month mortgage payment. So we cash flowed him by we right now, 6 months later, have cash flowed him by $25,000 a year. We got him additional cash based on his age and the value of the property. I can't remember what it appraised at, 330, 350 on the condo. We got him additional cash to help him pay for his medical supplies, his oxygen, his care. Have someone, actually, he has someone that drives him now to the grocery store, to his doctor's appointments. It was life-changing. So at the end of the day, like we were talking about earlier, and we talked about this before, it's not just a mortgage. It's giving the client, it's serving the client, meeting their needs, giving them peace of mind and the ability to sleep at night. That's essentially what we do. We can talk about all the numbers and the safety features and the insurance, and these are more expensive, the cost versus benefit. But at the end of the day, you can't put a price on peace of mind and be able to sleep at night. And we've probably added years to his life.
The only thing I would have changed if that house or apartment was big, kind of like, let's transition on over to Frank. And, like if Frank lives in a 3,000, whatever, 2,500 square foot house, if Dennis lived in a house that big, then it would be like, hey, you're in this big house by yourself. Maybe we should sell it and then buy something else and then do what you guys are currently doing.
We do that all the time. So it's like every situation is different. In Dennis's case, it made sense to age in place. We are in agreement there.
That fit him perfectly.
Little condo.
Perfectly. Condo, low maintenance.
Area he's familiar with. He didn't have to uproot him. He's a guy that knows his ways.
Yep. He was perfect. Yeah. And that will add longevity to his life, believe it or not. People may argue.
Yeah, not having the stress of rerouting everything and starting over.
And then the financial stress, which is 80% of it. Let's segue into Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're working with Frank in a little bit different situation. Frank is a widow.
Yep, widower. 13 years.
13 years.
Lives in the same house that they've been in for 30, 35 years.
About the same area as Dennis?
Yeah.
Yeah, down the street, couple miles east,
Okay.
Yeah. Big house for Frank to take on by himself right now.
Right.
I mean, so much so that he drained his pool 5 years ago because he couldn't afford the maintenance on it.
Made it into a skateboard park.
And Joe called me and said that, and I was like, what did he do?
Yeah.
No.
I know.
Not good.
Yeah. But so Frank is one of those fortunate people to be in a massive equity position.
Yes.
Right? House is just under $1 million. He owes
$950.
Owes about $250 on it.
So he's got $700,000 worth of equity in the property.
Yeah, massive.
So
amount.
what's normal thinking for that borrower to do?
Yeah.
Call you and let's do a
forward
cash out refi.
And he first called me.
Or a HELOC.
Or a HELOC, something like that. But with a person of that age being on a fixed income, why take on another payment, or why still have a payment when we have a solution to get rid of that payment, right? So with Frank, he's got the equity. He's looking at other homes that more manageable for him, 6 to 650, right around there, South Scottsdale, townhomes. And he came to me for a forward, and I said, okay, let's look at it. I said, Frank, in order for you to qualify for this, you're going to have to put about 75 to 80% down, and you're still going to have a mortgage payment. That's 75 to 80% down, and just to qualify for a forward. I go, why are we doing this? I go, you need to talk to Rob. He goes, well, I don't know. He beats around the bush just because people don't have the knowledge on it.
Well, people don't have the knowledge, and they're very, I don't want to use the word skittish. They're just very cautious about who they're talking to and who they trust. Right. Obviously, you've known Frank a long time. He's a friend of the family.
Right.
So you have the relationship.
Right.
That's so important to be able to. We met with him about a month ago.
Yep.
And we showed him side-by-side comparison. Here is your situation. He had a sizable amount of money in his retirement 13 years ago.
Yep, and he's dwindled that because of the house maintenance costs and the mortgage.
So he had $1 million in his portfolio, and over the course of the last 12 years, full disclosure, he's down to almost or just over $90,000.
Yep.
He's on a fixed income. The only income he has, like most people in retirement, is Social Security.
Yep, Social Security and pension.
And a small pension from the grocery store.
Yep.
So we met with him a few weeks ago.
Right.
We said, okay, you have a $950 house. We're going to sell it. We're going to move into something closer to family.
Yeah.
and that is more manageable, and then not have a mortgage payment. So let's walk through that really quick with our listeners and viewers on that. $950, we sell it. We pay off the $250 mortgage. We net about
$650-ish.
$650,000. So he's got $650,000 in his pocket right now to go buy a new house.
Right. He could pay
So
free and
what
clear.
do 90% of people do with $650,000 in their pocket?
Go to Vegas.
Well,
No,
Don't do that.
no,
Go to
buy a
Vegas.
Harley.
Don't
No.
do any of those things.
In his case, he was looking at using all that cash to throw towards a new
he
house.
was going to pay cash for a new property, sink all of that money, which is still stems from the Great Depression. Cash is king. You know, Dave Ramsey says no debt, no debt. He doesn't understand good debt versus bad debt. He just doesn't get it. And sink all of that $650,000 into a home, an illiquid asset, free and clear home. That in itself is a risk because of the liability we talked about, title theft. That's it for another segment or another show. So with the home equity conversion mortgage, retirement mortgage for purchase, we ran the numbers on a $650 house. He was going to come in with roughly $350.
And if we looked at the forward route, he was coming in with about $450, $460.
So I'm coming in with less, even with a reverse mortgage.
You're coming in with
reverse
less.
mortgage for purchase. You have to come in with so much money. Okay, so he's coming in with $350. I'm coming in with $300 from based on his age. The sales price is $650 on the new property. So I've literally doubled his buying power. And I've eliminated his mortgage payment where it's optional. If he wants to make a payment, he can. He's just responsible for his taxes, insurance, and HOA. And his financial planner is going to love him. He's going to have $300,000 back into his portfolio. So now he's close to $400,000 in his portfolio. I would imagine you agree with me. That is a win-win-win.
100%. I mean, when we put the numbers in front of him, the forward conventional mortgage versus the reverse, the forward conventional is going to have him coming in with about $100,000 to $110,000 more out of pocket and still have a monthly mortgage payment. The reverse was $110,000 less out of pocket and not have a mortgage payment and put $300 back into his account. It's a win-win-win on all aspects.
And his quality of life, being closer to his family.
A house that's more manageable.
He was in a 2,500 square foot house all by himself with a drained pool in the backyard.
Right.
And probably landscaping hadn't been done.
Right.
And just not very happy.
No.
You know?
And you could tell.
Yeah.
And you could tell when we put these options in front of him and showed him what it looked like, you could see his shoulders drop a little bit.
He got a glisten in his sparkle in his eye.
You could see him.
He had hope.
Yeah.
We gave him hope.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So, no, it's a truly life-changing product in that aspect, in all aspects of it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we have that option for him.
Yeah, 43% of Americans aged 62 and older are still making a mortgage payment.
Why?
Because they don't listen to our podcast.
Well, it's that way of thinking. It's the things they read online. And we need to be the ones to forefront the education on it. We need to tell them what they don't know yet. You only know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And if we can show them on how to use this equity or how to use your home as a financial tool for a better quality of life, it's a no-brainer.
Well, it's an uphill battle we're fighting, and we've got some additional variables now in the mix with a thing called Google. I don't know if you guys have heard of Google.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a thing called AI?
Yeah.
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
So everybody's becoming an expert in our industries.
Yeah.
I talked to a gentleman a couple of days ago that has a house down in the 7th or Central Corridor, Bethany home.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a $1.8 million home. And he's done his due diligence. He's very sharp, intelligent individual in his mid 70s. And he's familiar with Google and ChatGPT and AI. So he's bringing up all these questions to me that are partially correct. It's like Paul Harvey used to say on his radio show. And now for the rest of the story. So our job, and especially mine, is is that accurate? He would ask a question. I go, well, yes and no, or sort of.
Almost.
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
And so we give him the rest of the story. Well, actually, this is how it works. And there's so many different options and products with a retirement mortgage now more than ever that they're getting their wires crossed. and the proprietary non-FHA reverse mortgage has different overlays and guidelines and different things with it that aren't with the FHA product, the home equity conversion mortgage. So it's very easy to get confused. It's hard for me to keep it straight, and I do this for a living. So, well, guys, thank you so much for being on today. Any closing remarks or comments you'd like to share with our listeners before we depart for the day?
The only thing I have to say is talk to a professional before you make a massive decision.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn all you want online, and you can interpret that information how you know how to interpret it online.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to one of us. Let us help you break it down, what it means to you, and just put you on the best plan possible. I mean, this is the biggest purchase of your life, or it's the biggest aspect of your life. You're dealing with your money, your home, and your family. Get some help. Let us help you.
Love it.
Yeah, don't let the internet make decisions for you.
Yeah.
AI is great. Well, I use it every single day, but I don't.
It's a tool.
It's a tool that I use.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's never going to replace us, right?
Nope,
and
never.
if I listen to this in 30 years and if it replaces us, then whatever. I'll eat my own words. But you still need that person-to-person contact to ask direct questions.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if I don't know the answer to it, I'm not going to ask AI. I'm going to call my broker. I'm going to call somebody else that's been doing it longer, maybe, to put you in the best situation. Don't believe everything the computer tells you, right? So there's a quick thing I was watching the other day. Everyone's trying to sell their house with AI on their own.
Oh, wow.
And if I don't have the numbers and percentages, but you actually end up leaving a ton of money on the table because you're missing key elements that a professional agent would know to ask or to do or to look for, and you're just leaving a ton of money out there. So talk to AI and then talk to a real person, and then you decide who you want to go with. But just do your due diligence as the buyer, the seller, the consumer, whatever, and before you gamble with the largest asset of your entire life, which is a home. So
yeah. What's the best way to get a hold of you guys, Joe?
Give me a call on my cell, 480-213-4757.
And your you have a website?
Fairwayscottsdale.com. That's actually
nice.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
my website.
Saro.
Same phone number, and I'm on Instagram. I like Instagram. Just my first and last name. You'll find me. I don't think there's too many other.
You're gonna have to spell that.
Yeah,
out for
Saro. Just type in Saro if you're in the Phoenix area, or if you're in Arizona.
in your
I'll
last
pop
name.
up Hagobian, Hagobian,
All right.
and all my info's on there. My website's on there. My website's my first and last name.com. So,
Okay.
if you want to have a chat, let me know.
Awesome.
I like coffee.
Hey, me too. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning
Thank
into
you.
the Retire Right with Reverse Rob show. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Rob is a senior retirement mortgage specialist at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Feel free to contact Rob with any questions. Subscribe, like, or share so you won't miss an episode. Download and listen to the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again for listening to Retire Right with Reverse Rob.